What's up, everybody? I'm Brian Sampson coming at you again with another Brian's Breakdown from Dunking with Wolves. You can find us on Twitter at DunkingWolvesFS. Today, I'm going to break down the Minnesota Timberwolves-Utah Jazz game from last night, which, I think was kind of the turning point for Minnesota maybe this year as far as their ability to close games. So I'm just going to jump right into taking a look at some of the highlights, some of the lowlights, some things that I saw with the Timberwolves offense and defensive schemes as the night went on, and just give you guys my thoughts and break it down with video. So here we go. Similar to last time, we're going to start out with a positive play for the Timberwolves. This play came midway through the first quarter on a little pick and roll post-up action between Jeff Teague and Jimmy Butler. As you can see, Jeff Teague makes a great entry pass to Butler, who effectively holds off Joe Ingles. After Butler is able to corral the pass, Andrew Wiggins does a masterful job of cutting to the lane, and Butler is able to find a little opening there in the defense, and a nice little two-hand underhand scoop pass allows Butler to give the ball to Wiggins, who can then throw it down. That cutting is going to be a huge part of Wiggins' game as he tries to feed off of the increased attention on Karl-Anthony Towns and Jimmy Butler throughout the season. Here's another great play by the Minnesota Timberwolves, which results in another Andrew Wiggins dunk. Jeff Teague does a great job of driving middle, which collapses the defense, and that's the last place any defense wants a player to be. After he kicks it out to Jimmy Butler smartly rotates the ball to Wiggins in the corner, who, after bobbling it for half a second, is able to blow by Rudy Gobert for the easy dunk. This play is going to be huge as the Timberwolves struggled for most of this game to get easy looks, so the more looks at the basket that they can get and convert into 2 points like this, the more successful they'll be. The Timberwolves struggled to get anything going offensively for much of the game, as a lot of their offense relied solely on one-pass possessions where they got it down to Towns or Butler in the post. Towns was able to convert on some of them, but ultimately it resulted in a lot of tough shots. Minnesota only scored 19 points at the end of the first quarter, even though they held a 3-point lead. As the game went going, especially in the fourth quarter, Minnesota was able to get their offense going and get into a lot better of a rhythm. But early on, as you can see, it was just a lot of one-pass post-ups, which led to a few turnovers, a few bad shots, and overall just sloppy play by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota did have some really good offensive possessions with some really good action. As you can see here, Jeff Teague is trying to get the ball into the low post for Karl-Anthony Towns. Unfortunately, he's being fronted by the defender, so Gibson then flashes to the high post and gives Towns a nice little high-low entry pass so Towns can catch the ball and go right up for it for a slam dunk. This is great recognition by Gibson and Teague to not force the ball down to Towns and allow a better angle for the pass and ultimately an easier chance at the bucket for the Timberwolves. Defensively, there were a lot of pick and rolls set throughout this game, which is a common action in the NBA game today. Minnesota often struggled to defend it as they were sometimes slow getting out, but also that could just be the calls as they were playing a lot of soft pick and roll coverage due to the lack of elite shooters on the Jazz team. And so sometimes it resulted in easy buckets. This pick and roll was a slick design by the Utah Jazz. They actually have a little screen-the-screener action going on. They set a ball screen up top for Ricky Rubio, and then Ekpe Udoh dives to the rim and actually pins off Derek Favors' man, and that allows Rubio to drop the ball back to Favors for an open shot from the top of the key. This is a very creative way to run the pick and roll as it sets up a nice pop action for Derek Favors, who's actually a pretty good shooter from the mid-range. This is hard to defend by the Timberwolves standpoint, but it takes a lot of communication and ability to decipher the play beforehand, before it happens, not after the fact. The last play I'm going to break down is the last play or the go-ahead bucket for Jamal Crawford and the Minnesota Timberwolves. As you can see, they start out in a bunch formation, and this is actually set up by an out-of-bounds play earlier in the game, where it's a similar formation except for the inbounder was on the other side of the lane. This time, Jamal Crawford, who's in the same spot as before and actually hit the jumper coming across to the other side, he sets his man up beautifully by going to the side of the court, kind of faking, deking which way he's going to go. And that little slow turn is intentional on his part and is there to confuse the defender. And after he does that, Towns gets in great position to set the screen. Towns actually could have set a little bit better of a screen, but we're not going to be nitpicky here, as Jamal Crawford catches the ball in the corner and then calmly drains a three, which is the reason that they brought him to Minnesota to help close these games that they struggled with last year. Well, there you have it for the second ever edition of Brian's Breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please don't be afraid to leave comments below in case there are things that I missed or if there are things you want to see in the future. Make sure to check out Dunking with Wolves on Twitter at DunkingWolvesFS or on the website www.dunkingwithwolves.com. And you can find me, Brian Sampson, on Twitter at Brian Sampson NBA. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking this out.